welcome to Revelations with Delusional Knitter. I'm Angela, your host. This is episode 132, and it is Friday, March 4th, 2016. On to updates and housekeeping. Welcome if you are new. If you are returning, I thank you as always. And either way, I hope you enjoy the show and continue to watch the podcast. The show is available on iTunes, YouTube, the website delusionalknitter.com, and I also post the YouTube embedded in the Ravelry group for the applicable thread for the episode. There is a Ravelry group, like I just said, Revelations of a Delusional Knitter, so come on over and join that if you are not already a member. We have some knit-alongs and giveaways and all kinds of other stuff like that, so come on over and join that. I think that's it for updates and housekeeping. Declarations. So what I've been doing, it's been a little while since I recorded. I don't think any longer than usual, but I don't record every week because it's just not possible. So, I went and saw Deadpool, and it was awesome. My friend that he and I go and we see typically the Marvel movies. I've talked about that before. We go to Chunky's, which is a cinema pub, so we usually go for dinner. And he had texted me, and it was a couple days before, and he said, I know it's really short notice, but are you interested in seeing Deadpool at 9 a.m. on Saturday? And I said, sure, that works. And he was like, awesome, breakfast and bullets. I was like, yes. So that was very good. I had chocolate chip pancakes because I'm an adult. And my iced tea that I usually get there. And it was really good, though. If you haven't seen Deadpool, you do need to have a sense of humor. You do need to have the mental ability of like a 5-year-old. And you have to be able to put up with a lot of swearing. It is rated R. Children should not go to it. But it was excellent. It was really, really good. So then that same day, I think I probably mentioned it before because I had to buy the tickets in advance. My husband and I went up to New Hampshire. We stayed at his parents' house up in the White Mountains overnight, and we went to the ice castle, which is essentially a huge structure made of ice. And I had wanted to go. They've done it for the last couple of years. I wanted to go, but we never had time or whatever. And you have to purchase the tickets in advance, like I said. You can go then, but you're not guaranteed a spot, and you have to buy the ticket. It's really just a time slot because they can only let so many people in at a time. So we bought these tickets. And then as the weekend is drawing nearer, we're looking at the weather, and it is the coldest day ever. I don't even know, this winter, this decade, this century? I don't know. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. I should go find, actually, on my camera, or I don't know, somebody's camera. We both had our cameras with us. My husband wears glasses and sometimes contacts, but he wears his glasses right now because he's having some problems with his contacts. So it was so cold that while we were standing outside in line, we had geared up too. Luckily, my in-laws gave us ski pants because I think without those, we would have died. So we were all bundled up and we had scarves and we had them across our face while we were waiting in line. Well, when you breathe into it, it goes up into your face. So his glasses froze. They literally froze, and they never defrosted until we got back to his parents' house. So he couldn't see anything through his glasses the entire time. My face, I didn't even realize until we got back to his parents' house, although my face felt weird. I melted my mascara, and then it froze to my face. I looked like a big scary clown. And it's funny because as we were there for like 10 minutes. We stood in line for a little bit. It wasn't that long. We got in, we walked around, and we were like, we need to leave. We need to leave right now. This is ridiculous. He got some really good pictures, which I'll also probably put in here. I got none because I don't know if my camera was frozen or if my hands were so cold that I just couldn't hold the camera steady to get a picture, or the shutter wasn't, I don't know, but they were a disaster. When we had walked back inside is when I took a picture of his glasses, because I was like, oh my god, that's so funny, I gotta take a picture of that. A man was walking by and he looked at me. And then he looked at me again, like a little concerned, like there was something wrong with me. Yeah, because I had mascara all over my face. So when we got back to his parents' house, I went in the bathroom, and I came back out, and I was like, thanks, Derek. Thanks for telling me I had mascara all over my face. And his dad, without missing a beat, said he couldn't see anything out of his glasses. They were frozen. So, yeah, that was the ice castles. Oh, my God. I don't know if I'll go ever again because that was such a bad experience. It had nothing to do with the venue or the place or the thing. Absolutely nothing. But I don't know. I saw it. I saw it. And yeah, that was just terrible. That was just, it was funny though. Whatever, it was funny. You know, the more entertaining part of it was the, like, midnight, it wasn't midnight, but it was dark out, ride over the mountain, because it was so cold and it had snowed recently that it was like a roller coaster ride to get up over the mountain to the other side to where the ice castle was and back again. And you have no cell phone service, so if you break down or you crash, you just have to, like, wait for somebody to find you. That was more, like, that was, I guess, where my money was well spent, because I had, like, a roller coaster ride on the way there and back, so I don't know, but it was crazy. So that was that. Yes. I am happy. I should have brought one in here. I don't have one in here. Cadbury is back. I swear they put Cadbury out earlier every year, because I think I actually saw them, well, it's February, right? Although Easter is in March this year, but my favorite candy ever are Cadbury cream eggs and Cadbury mini eggs. I love them. So I was excited to see those back. Spanish. I found a really good, which will be great for my job too, because we do have some people call, like, you speak Spanish? No. There's nobody here that speaks Spanish. Oh. Speak Spanish? No. What do you need? Just try and tell me, you know? I found a really good Spanish course on Audible. Now, I know some Spanish, but the Spanish I know was from high school and college, so I can ask you where the library is, or the bathroom, or things like that, which have absolutely no use in my job. So I've been trying to pick up Spanish again, and Pinsler, I think it is Pinsler. On Audible, there's a course that it's quite long. I think there were, I don't even want to say because I don't even know, a lot of courses, and each segment is a half an hour, and I think each download has 5 half-hour segments in it, and there were like well over a dozen different downloads. So I've been doing that recently, and I sit here and I knit, and I have to pick. Well, initially it didn't matter because I knew all the words that they were saying initially, except for a couple, so it didn't really matter. But as I got further into it, I started not recognizing any of the words, so I couldn't knit lace or things like that anymore while I was doing it. I had to knit something plain. And I just sit here in the morning with my coffee and my knitting, and I talk to the computer in Spanish. It's pretty funny. So I've been doing that. I do have a new thread on the board that's called Ask Away, where you can ask me any questions you want that I will answer on the podcast. Obviously, if I can. If some of them are about my job, I may not be able to answer them for you, but I will do my best, just because of privacy issues and things like that. So Melody had asked about my glass spin doll, and well, first of all, I would have had to have used it. I haven't used it yet. Have not used it yet. But this is good, because when you ask questions like this, it'll probably prompt me to actually go do this thing. So hopefully I will use it soon and be able to tell you how it's spun. She also asked about those cute, the cat stickies. Melody, I'm going to PM you a link through Amazon, because I don't know, I got them on Amazon, but I don't know what to tell you to search for to find them easily, so I'm just going to send you a link to them. And if anybody else wants it, just PM me and I will send you the link. Speaking of that, though, it's not for this section, but I ordered some new pens for my bullet journaling, and I had seen these before, and they're paper clips, and this company, Midori, makes a whole bunch of different ones. So there's like dogs, there's penguins, there's a whole bunch of animals, but they had cat ones. So I got some cat paper clips. I don't know what I'm going to use them for, if I'm ever going to use them, but they crack me up, and they're not very expensive, a couple of bucks, so I got some of those. They're super cute. They come in this nice little package. What else do we got here? Pick a whip. So, I'm gonna probably open it up to you guys if you're interested. I have a ton of whips. Not a ton of whips. Whatever. I don't know. It was really busy at work yesterday. I'm still a little brain dead from it. Okay, let me start over. I have whips, and I have no desire to cast on anything new at this time, and I would really like to finish up whips. So what I'm going to do each month is pick a whip and finish it. So I will put a list of them up on the board. I'll probably pick a couple that I want to do. Like I said, I don't have a ton, but I mean, if I really pulled them all out, I'd probably come up with a dozen, right? I'm going to pick a couple, put up a poll, you can vote, and then I'll finish it. That's how that's going to work. Pick a whip. I did also notice that, and I have to go find a soundbite for it, but it won't be until September anyway that this anniversary comes up. I've been knitting for 10 years now. 10 years! And the soundbite I think of when I think of that is Linda on Bob's Burgers. There's an episode where they have to leave the restaurant because they have mold. The health inspector doesn't like Bob because he used to date Linda. If you watch the show, this makes sense to you. So they stay with the guy next door, the mortician, because there's a funeral parlor next door to the restaurant. And Linda's saying how it's going to be a little vacation because they won't have to work for the weekend at the restaurant. And Bob is like, it hasn't been that long since we've been on vacation. And she's like, 10 years. And that's what I think of when I think, oh my god, I've been knitting for 10 years. 10 years. Wow. So this September will be the 10th anniversary of me knitting. Wow. We'll have to do something fun for that. All right, that's all my what's been going on. So let's move on to Revelations. I do have an FO for you, and I'm super excited about it. So I was doing a couple of knit-alongs, two I did not make the deadlines for, but one I did. And this was the Peacock's Tail, T-A-L-E, like story, from Nim Teasdale, and it's a fabulous pattern. I think all of her, I have never knit any of her patterns, but they all look similarly constructed as far as how the lace flows from one section to another. So I'm assuming all of her patterns are like this because it just looks like this is what she does. And it's a lace shawl, it's a crescent shawl, it's a very much a crescent shawl. It really goes like that. It was a little difficult to block. I'm gonna have to order more blocking mats from Knit Picks because I had to keep shifting them around because it just wasn't fitting right on there to get the correct shape for the actual shawl. So it was kind of a pain in the butt. It's beaded. I did add some more beads to the edging that the pattern didn't call for, but obviously you can do whatever you want with beads. And I love it. It came out really good. It's losing its blocking a little bit, the points, because it's been sitting now for a couple of days, but this is the Peacock's Tail, and it came out so good. But yeah, you can see if you lay it on its own, it really wants to curve up a lot. So this is done. It's quite heavy because of all the beads, but it's a lovely shawl. And the way she constructed it also is each chart you could repeat as many times as you wanted. And the number, the count would still work out for the next chart. So that was pretty cool. So like I said, I beaded it. So the pattern called for the beads here at the top of the leaves, but I also added some beads to the edging at the bottom. It didn't call for those, so really nice pattern, really fun knit. It was super easy to knit too. It looks like a little complicated, right? But it was super easy to knit because once you did a couple of repeats across the row, then it was just so easy to memorize it and then just continue on through the rest of the row without looking at the pattern. But that is the Peacock's Tail, and I highly recommend her patterns. This one was fabulous. It was so good. The bow ties are cool shawl. I did not finish in time for the knit along, but I only have the last clue left, the edging. So that's, yeah. That other shawl was knit with Barocco alpaca fine. It's wool and alpaca. I don't know, whatever it's called. They're sock yarn. This is Bow Ties Are Cool. Something weird's happening here. And I just have the edging left, so I'm all done with the confetti, like sprinkly yarn. This is from Spun Right Round, and she does an awesome job with these fantastic colors. This one is called The Walkers, and this is all that I have left, which is like 8 grams. So that worked out well. The other one is Superstitions, I think, also from Spun Right Round. And it's a lovely yarn base. It's very squishy. And so that's what I have. So I just have the edging left to do. And once this is blocked, it's going to look awesome. And then I have the, again, I don't know how to pronounce it, Moab shawl. It's M-O-A-B. And it was specifically designed for hand spun. So this is some of my hand spun from a loop bump that I spun up before. And I'm just still building the body. It's just regular garter stitch, building the increases for the body. So that's all I have so far, but it's got nice sparklies in it. And I love this, and it's really fun knitting with your hand spun. This is my first hand spun I've ever knit with, even though I have a dozen skeins in my stash that I have spun. So that's going well. Then I have some plain vanilla socks, and this is some old yarn. I really don't know how old the yarn is, but I created the Ravelry stash page in 2008. So that's either when I got it, or that's when I decided to go in my stash and start organizing. I don't know. But it's at least that old. And I had started these socks when we went up to my in-laws that weekend because I wanted something. I didn't want to drag any of these shawls. I did bring the hand spun one, but I wanted something very plain to just knit while we were sitting on the couch talking to them and watch TV and stuff. So I just am doing plain vanilla socks that fit, by the way. These ones will fit just fine. So this is the yarn, and I didn't try very hard because I really didn't care. I tried to find, so what I do when I knit socks, this was a ball, like a ball, not a hank, it was a ball yarn. I split it, whether it is a hank or a skein or a ball, whatever. I usually split it in half because then I can do both my socks on separate needles but at the same time, so I have 2 finished socks when I'm done. So I split this ball, and I started this sock, I believe, and I had worked the whole toe, the increases, and then I was onto the foot, and then I went to the next sock and I started pulling out yarn and pulling out yarn and pulling out yarn and pulling out yarn, and I'm like, I don't see any maroon in here, what is happening? Then I gave up and I'm like, you know what, they're just not gonna match, because if you can see, and I think this is where the repeat starts, yeah it is, so right here would be where I would have had to start to get a maroon toe. And as you can clearly see, that's a lot of yarn. So as I started pulling it out and I wasn't seeing any maroon, I gave up. But I don't care. They're kind of cool that they don't match, and that's fine with me. So these are my stripy socks. And these will be done whenever because they're just plain socks. I don't care. They're just I bring these places if I'm knitting somewhere or whatever. That's fine. And I don't know why this is covered in cat fur, because cats don't usually come in here. So that's my plain stripy socks. Then I have, which is, all these other projects also are why the socks haven't been knit on at all. It's March. Sock Madness started. I seriously doubt I will get on a team, because as far as I understand it, the first pattern starts March 1st. You have 2 weeks to finish your socks, and then you get put on a team. I will be lucky if I finish 2 socks. That's 10 more days. I just don't see this happening. I have a little story to go with this. So, I guess I'll tell you the story first. So the first day I looked at the pattern, and I didn't really love it. And I think it was just the colors for the pattern samples. You could do 2 variegated yarns together, or you could do a variegated and a solid. Once people started knitting them and I was seeing their color options, I was like, oh no, actually I kind of do like that pattern. It's just that I didn't like the colors in the sample. And I really liked it with a variegated and a solid, the ones that people were doing. So then I went digging around in my stash, and I found some yarn for it. And I started it, and I am happy with it, that's fine. I also, because it was clearly 2 yarns together, I was under the assumption that you'd have like a jog or some sort of weird thing going on with the color changes. After I read the pattern, I saw that was not the case. You didn't have to do any twisting, there were no floats. It's fine. It spirals. So you just pick up the other yarn and go, you pick up the other yarn and go, you pick up the other yarn and go, and it looks fine and it fits fine and there's no weird wonky thing. Great. So now I'm like, okay, fine, I'll start some socks, So I'm digging around in my stash just back there in the bookcase. I had some leftover yarn from the 2-in-1 socks that I did before, and this is plenty for this pattern because this is almost half that I had left of the ball, so that should be fine. And then I wanted a solid color, and I thought like 4 of those back there that I had in solids were black, and then I realized that 2 of them were navy, so I pulled out a navy one because I thought navy would go well with this because it's got some blue in it. And it does, and I like it a lot. So here's my sock. So what it is like a slip stitch thing here, and you have the 2 different colors. And then it's a personal footprints toe, I think is what it's called. I don't know, it's catboardy toe. So I did the toe and that's fine. And I'm working on the thing and that's fine. My gauge is a little bit bigger than I would like for it to fit nicely, but I've already tried it on a few times and it seems like it'll be fine. So I think it'll be okay. So by the time I got my head out of my butt and picked yarn and figured out, yeah, fine, I'll do the pattern, it's cool. It was like was it that day? Was it yesterday? Was it only yesterday? I guess it was. It was the 3rd, right? So I'd already lost 2 days. So then I'm thinking about how am I going to finish 2 socks in, it's not really 2 weeks because I'm at 12 days. I can't do math today, clearly. You can tell. So then I'm like, oh, bring it to work with you. It's only 2 weeks. It's a short time period. Usually I don't bring knitting to work with me because I have some problems with my shoulder and my back and my neck. And if I knit all day, every day, then it really gets bad. So that's why I usually don't bring knitting to work, because I usually knit while I'm home in the morning and when I get home from work. So I said, you know what, though, it's short term. You're just going to finish 2 socks. Just bring it to work. I have always had this happen to me where, say I have a doctor's appointment, and I don't bring my Kindle, or I don't bring knitting or anything. I will have a ridiculous wait, like half an hour, 45 minutes. If I bring something to do, I will have no wait, and I will get right in. So like I said, I don't usually bring my knitting to work with me. And it's usually quite peaceful. I brought these socks. It was the craziest day ever yesterday. It was the busiest day since I can't even remember being there. There's some busy days in the summer and stuff, but it's been a long time since it's been that busy. And I'm pretty sure I jinxed myself by bringing knitting with me. So I don't know if I'm going to do that again. I don't know if I'll finish the socks on time. I don't know. It was crazy, crazy, crazy busy. We were laughing because the other dispatcher and I a few times had to say to the other one, I'm not yelling at you. I'm not mad at you, because we were so like ripping our hair out and just yelling and, blah, 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 because we'd be asking the other one, why are they doing this? And it's like, I'm sorry, I'm not yelling at you. So it was a crazy busy day. And I'm like, oh, yeah, sure, bring your socks. It's the busiest day of the year. It was killing me. It was killing me. So, we'll see how far I get, but like I said, I sincerely doubt I'll get on a team, because I sincerely doubt I'll have 2 socks by the 14th of March. Let's just put it that way. But I am liking it, and I am liking the pattern, and I do think they'll fit just fine. They might be a little big. I do find, I don't know if any of you do this, but what I have done in the past, if a sock was slightly big, and I'm not talking humongously big, I'm not talking like inches too long or inches too wide, just slightly not as snug as you would like, I will put it in the dryer. When I wash them, I'll put it in the dryer once or twice, and I have done that before with Knit Picks yarn, and it's worked wonderfully. It just kind of squished it up a little bit, just enough to take all that out and make them fit very well. So I might even try that with these. I don't know how that will work with the slip stitches, but we'll see. But I think they'll fit fine, and I think everything will be fine with them. And that brings us to string theory. I don't have anything to show you again. I'm still, or not, spinning on the Roadbug with that Into the World fiber. For scrolls, I do not have a book review today, but we have the giveaway for the River Ganses book that I reviewed from Cooperative Press the last time. And I was also going to do some other things on the podcast today, but my tablet is dead. I keep it in my backpack and I take it to work because sometimes we can watch TV. And I just pulled it out before I went to record, and the battery's pretty much dead. It's yellow, so it's angry. And I can't plug it in here. It won't reach from the wall. And I did not want to wait for it to charge because it's already, as you can see, dark out. So it's 6 o'clock at night. And if I don't get this recorded now, it's not going to happen. So you'll just have to believe me that I did the random number generator and picked a name. Number 7 out of the thread one, and that is Sharona the Mom, and that's Sharon from California. So I will notify Cooperative Press that you have won, and they should be sending you a copy of River Ganses. So congratulations to you. And my timer is telling me I only have a few minutes left of this recording, so I'm just going to pause here and be right back with the rest of the show. Okay, we're back. You don't notice a difference. I always want to put that, like, remember old TV stations, like when we had antennas, not cable and everything, and they were having an issue with the station, they'd have that message, we'll be right back, and that, like, elevator music. I always want to, like, put that in the gap here when I record. I don't know.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by. will return to our regularly scheduled program momentarily. Please stay tuned. We expect to resume normal broadcasting shortly.
Okay, we are on to Testaments, so I have a couple of new things to show you, not much. I did order, while I was beading that shawl, what did I do with the card? I don't know what I did with the card. Is this the card? Yes. I did order, while I was beading that shawl, because I do not like beading with a crochet hook. It has never worked for me. I usually use Oral-B Super Floss. And if you've never seen that, I still have mine piece up here that I was using. It's dental floss, but it's not regular dental floss. And this is cut, actually, I cut it. So this piece is like regular dental floss, and it's quite long. I have cut it and tied a knot so my beads don't fall off. The middle part is this like spongy material, and when you put beads on there, I don't have any readily available to show you, but they stay, and they don't flop around on it because it's spongy and they kind of stick. There's stuff floating all over the place, by the way, fiber and dust. The other end is very stiff. So, the stiff end, it makes it very easy to pick beads up and get them onto it. You just pop it right in the hole and they slide right on there. And then I have found it easier to use the stiffer end. I used to use the regular dental floss end, but I've now found it easier to use the stiffer end to put the beads on. Here you can see this one has a bend in it. That's because that's where I kept bending it to put the beads on. So when you have the beads on here, you then slip this end through your stitch so that your stitch is on it, and you fold it up like that, and then if you pull this tight so it's not as spongy, the beads slide down, they slide over both of those ends and onto your stitch, and then you pull this back out of your stitch. And I like it a lot. It is a little slow though, because you don't have to put the work down, but I find it easier to put the work down on a flat surface like my desk, put the stitch bead on, pick it back up, and start knitting again. I did, though, invest in, and I tried it a couple of times, but I think this size would work better with lace. And this size did say light fingering and lace weight. So that it is what it is. That is pretty light fingering, but it was a splitty yarn. It was a little bit of a splitty yarn because I was even splitting it with the needle sometimes, so I think it's just that yarn. But I did invest in a Flegel beater from the Gossamer Web. Flegel. And she's the one that did Flegel Spin Supported, that ebook, and she has wonderful yarns and fibers also. But I haven't really had a time to try this out. Like I said, it would probably work better for a lace weight, the particular size that I got, so I will try a lace weight shawl with beads and let you know later on how this works. But it's a really cool thing. It comes in this tube, which is awesome because you can store it, and what it is there's bent end, there's some stoppers. This is just to protect the tip. The tip is like a crochet hook, but it doesn't have that big head, so it looks like it'll be a lot easier. And it's got a little cutout, that's where the yarn can go. You have your beads on there, you slide your yarn over that onto, did I just say that right? Did I say yarn or beads? You slide your beads over that onto the yarn, and it kind of works like a crochet hook, but it's much better. So once I actually get to try this, I will tell you about it. But yeah, it's pretty cool, and this tube is great because then it's not really thin metal. It's pretty sturdy, but you can bend it if you try hard enough. So it's really great that they give you this tube to store it in. And the other thing I got was my Into the World shipment for February, and it is 24th and a half century. I'm not sure what that's in relation to. It is Falkland. And as usual, it's their wonderful, fabulous colors. I don't know if I've spun Falkland before. I did notice, because this comes in a mailing envelope, obviously, and sometimes it's really squished down, depending on what the fiber is. And this one, when I pulled the envelope out of the mailbox, I was like, whoa, what is this? Because it's just so fluffy and really, thick and spongy. So that's Falkland, apparently. And I don't think I have spun Falkland. I don't think so. So those are my testaments for this episode. Intentions, Delusional Knitter Designs. So Mirabelle, the knit along is going on, and Mirabelle did very well. I sold a lot of patterns for Mirabelle, so I'm very happy about that. And Becky sold a lot of kits, so that's awesome also. And that's it. So if you want it, Mirabelle is available. It's a shawl pattern. It's over there. I'm not going to get it. I've shown it a couple of times already, but you can also click on the projects and see what colorways other people have done. Some people who have kits have already finished, and they look awesome. And that was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with that pattern. It was really cool. Beth's mitts. I showed these before. I have a mitt done. So my friend Beth wanted some longer mitts, so I made her some. So these are Beth's mitts, and I started the other one. I was really hoping I would have it done for tomorrow because we're going to the farmer's market with each other again. There's no way I'm going to finish this by tomorrow because it's already whatever time it is, 6 something. So this is the other mitt. Yeah, there's no way I'm going to finish it. So I'm just going to bring the one and show it to her, and then I will finish the other one and mail them to her or whatever, or whenever we see them again or whatever. But that one will be up for test knitting soon because what I'm doing is I knit the first mitt, I wrote the pattern, I'm knitting the second mitt from the pattern and, you know, fixing anything that I had wrong or whatever, and that will be up for test knitting soon. So if you're interested in knitting mitts, and you can also, if you're interested in knitting these mitts, you can also make shorter ones if you would like. You know, here about would be a normal mitt size, so if you would like to make a shorter mitt, that would be fine as well. I will figure out the stitch count for that, and you can do that if you wanted to. That's it for intentions. Heresy, Hogwarts at Ravelry. I finally got something in. I hadn't entered anything yet in this rotation, and then I entered the peacock shawl, so that was cool. And this rotation ends on the 11th, I think. So I'm not sure if I'll get something else in for that one, but that's okay. Hogwarts at Ravelry, if you enter one project per rotation, you can continue on, so they're pretty lenient about that. Sock Madness, I already talked about, that's going. And Epic Knit Along 2016 on my board is going. I really have to gather up some prizes for that, because I was going to do them quarterly, and I don't have any yet. I was a little busy with Mirabelle and some other stuff. New podcasts I wanted to mention. I've been listening to some and watching some new podcasts recently. There's a ton out there. I watch quite a few regularly. I watch Dramatic Knits. I watch 90% Knitting with Lisa from Fiber Nymph Dye Works, and Dramatic Knits is Steve from Leading Men Fiber Arts, who also, oh, by the way, Intentions, contacted me the other day and asked me about carrying the Carolyn pattern, was the hat pattern I did out of his yarn, in his booth at shows, and I was like, yes, that would be fabulous. So we worked that out. That was pretty cool. But I have some new podcasts that I stumbled upon recently, and one is Unraveled with Greg and Joey, and it's just an audio podcast. It's 2 men, and they are hysterical. They crack me up. They're really funny. They have a really good sense of humor. It's really good. And the other one is Spooky Knitting and Crochet with Debbie, and she is a medium. So in addition to her knitting and her projects, she also tells a little story about her experiences with being a medium and, you know, spirits and things like that, and that was really cool, and I like that one a lot because I've always been very into like Wicca and witchcraft, and you know, I go to Salem Mass all the time, not all the time, but I really enjoy Salem Mass and the history of all that stuff, and, you know, tarot cards and runes and stones and healing and Reiki and things like that. It really interests me. So hers is a lot of fun, and I'm enjoying it a lot. She has a wonderful voice. She has a very soothing, nice, calming voice. She's really great to listen to. Ravelry Patterns. I already told you we're not going to have any today because my tablet battery is dead, so we'll do that next time. I don't think I really found anything that was that fabulous recently. There were a couple, but we'll do them next time. Bullet journal. I've been doing very well in my bullet journal. And I must say, there were a couple of things I wanted to get under control in the house, and using the tracker in the bullet journal apparently made it work, because all of a sudden these things that were issues in our house before are no longer issues. For example, very simply, dishes. We have a dishwasher. There is no reason we should put dishes in the sink all week and then have to spend half an hour washing dishes and loading the dishwasher at the end of the week. It's gross. They weren't that bad, but sometimes it gets nasty in there when you let something sit that long. I mean, we always put soap and water in it, but, you know, and most of the time we would rinse them so they weren't really gross, but, yeah, not just yuck. Just why? Why is that so difficult? So, my sink has been empty for like the last 2 weeks, all the time, because we keep doing the dishes. My husband's really good about, if I try to do something, like if I go to work at 2, he's already at work, he comes home later. If I go to work at 2 and the sink is empty, when I get home from work, the sink will be empty. Because he's really good about picking up on that, and like, oh, she did the dishes, I probably shouldn't just dump my dishes from dinner in there and leave them there. You know, he's really good about that. And I've been good about emptying the dishwasher so that it's empty, so that you can put your dishes back in it when they're dirty and things like that. So it works out well for that. But the tracker has been helping me a lot. So I have a daily tracker for dishes. Mail was another thing. Mail would pile up on the breakfast bar. We'd never go through the mail. I didn't want to just throw it out because some of it's like credit card statements, you know, things that have information on it that you don't want in the trash, so I would shred them. Now I just take care of the mail every day. And you know what? If you do the dishes throughout the day and you take care of the mail once a day, it only takes you like 2 to 5 minutes each time. Yeah. Duh. Like, it's so simple. It's so stupid. I don't know why things get that way. But you get into a habit where you do something a certain way and it just keeps going. So that's going awesome. And as you can see, I'll show you an example of my February tracker, if I can find it. You can see at the beginning of the month, not too much. Look at all the things I filled in at the end of the month. So I already like developed a habit just from filling in these stupid little boxes with colored markers. So that's really cool. I was also doing, I told you I'm not done with it yet, but the February memories. So there I have Deadpool, The Walking Dead, the Mirabelle shawl, the ice castles. I was doing a Cadbury cream egg there. So that's a lot of fun too with the lettering and everything like that. And my lettering is getting better because if you look at my March calendar, see March there? That's pretty nifty. I like that. So that's pretty cool, and I'm enjoying bullet journaling a lot. Like I said, it's actually working. Things are working. Things are happening in the house. My sink is empty as we speak, and there's no mail in the breakfast bar because I already went through it and threw everything away. So it's exciting. Yay! How stupid is this? I take this and fill out a little box, and it makes me do things. I don't know. It's so silly, but it works. I did get some more pens recently. I've heard about these ones before. These are the Faber-Castell pens. They're very similar to these Staedtler tripless fine liners, but they have Indian ink. I don't know if they're higher quality. They seem similar, but they have different thicknesses to the nib, I think it's called, on the pen, so I've been trying those out, and those are working pretty good. Delusional Jabber. Arts and crafts, I haven't been doing anything else. That was another thing I'm actually going to try on my tracker and see if I can start getting back into cross-stitch and stuff like that. Reading, I did finish Flip. That was a trilogy I was reading. That was the last book, and it was very good. The ending was a little anticlimactic. I don't know, though. I was at work when I was reading it, so maybe I just wasn't really totally into it. But it was good, and I highly recommend the series, the trilogy. It was really good. The Walking Dead comics. I'm not even going to get into it. I'm up to the point where the show is right now, and obviously they don't do exactly what's in the comic, but I was trying to catch back up because now the show is getting ahead of the comic book where I was, and there was something happened in the last comic book that I read that was disturbing, to say the least. Somebody gets killed, and I was actually, like, horrified after I read it. Like, actually disturbed. Like, upset. But I will still read them, and I will still watch the show, but yes. I did start a new book because I finished Flip, so I started Run, and that's by Blake Crouch, and he was the one that did Wandering Pines that I read before, and that was also a miniseries on Fox, and Run is also very good. I like his writing style. He's pretty good, so if you like, I don't know, you'd have to go like read a synopsis to see if it's the kind of book you like, but it's, I don't even really know how to describe it to you, actually, so just go do that. I don't know. If you watch the show on Fox, you know what I'm talking about, but TV, Big Bang Theory I'm caught up on, Mom I'm caught up on, Lucifer I got a couple more to watch, Better Call Saul I think I'm behind 1, and that new season is very good as well. Gotham started again, I'm behind, I haven't watched any of it yet. Another new show that I was watching that I think also is actually a miniseries, because obviously it's going to end at some point. Once I tell you what it is, you'll know what I'm talking about, is The People versus O.J. Simpson. And I'm liking it a lot. When I don't really like I like Castle And Lucifer is kind of like that. I don't like real life cop drama things, and I don't know if that's because of what I do for work. Like, I've had enough of that. I don't need any more. But I do like those ones, like the comedic kind of ones or whatever. But this one intrigued me because I was a teenager in high school when this happened, so I remember it because it was always on TV, always. And that's back before I went to college. And I was very interested in court and the justice system, because that's what I went to college for, by the way. I have an associate's degree in criminal justice. I don't know if I've ever mentioned that, but when I was preparing the show notes for this, I was thinking about that, and also finally realized that I've said to you numerous times that I finally found a job that I like. Well, duh. It has to do with what I went to college for and what I always wanted to do. So that just popped up when I was preparing my show notes and thinking about this show, but I don't think I ever mentioned that before, that I actually went to college for criminal justice. But this show, it's really good. I think it's well done. Obviously, I'm not, a member of the families or anybody who's tied to it, but I think it's well done. There's actually several lines in it that make me laugh out loud, which the whole thing itself is not funny, but it's a television show, so it's entertaining, right? And I think it's really good. I'm really enjoying it. And I didn't think I would, but I wanted to check it out, like I said, because that actually happened when I was a teenager. And I remember I would come home, like I said, I was interested in court and criminal justice. I would come home from school and watch court TV for like hours watching this trial. So I was really interested in this show, and it is turning out. I enjoy it a lot. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, check that one out if you haven't watched it yet, because I'm really enjoying it. And it's Cuba Gooding Jr., and he's doing excellent. And John Travolta is in it, and David Schwimmer, I don't know, Ross from Friends, is in it as well, and they're all doing really good, and I'm really enjoying it. And the woman that plays Marcia Clark is excellent also. I don't know her name, the actress, but it's really good. So if you like that, or if you're watching it, let me know what you think about it, because I'm really interested. And I think that's it for this episode. That's all I've been doing. Catching up on TV, doing some knitting, things like that. It was a little sad today. I went to the hairdresser because she had given me a sample of shampoo and conditioner, because she asked me what I used when she colored my hair. And she said, ooh, that's got a lot of alcohol in it. That's really drying, it really strips the dye out. So let me give you a sample of something. I was like, great. So I've been using this shampoo, and my hair is actually thicker and, physically feels thicker. It used to feel a lot thinner than that. And it's tamer, it's a little more well-behaved, and I don't have the problem, because I need a lot of conditioning because I have dry hair, and it's dyed, so that dries it out even more, so I need a lot of conditioner. If I use thick conditioners, though, I'll get, greasy head. I'll get, greasy, nasty head. Looks like I haven't washed my hair. And this one doesn't do that, but yet it's a thick, nice conditioner. They're discontinuing it. Yeah. I went to go pick some up because she gave me the samples and I didn't even know what it was. And she was like, oh, is that what I gave you? So I did buy it because they had it on the shelf, and she gave me samples of something else so I can hopefully move on. And she was like, you know what, just try this other one. If you don't like it, we'll work it out. We'll find something else for you. She's like, but oh my god, they're discontinuing that. I'm so sorry. So she said, so many people like it. I don't know why they're discontinuing it, but we'll see if I find something else. But that was a little disappointing today. But I made another appointment with her, and next time we're going to do more purple, so that will be exciting. And yeah, I think that's it for this episode. So thank you for joining me again, and happy knitting and spinning.